good, the bad, and the ugly, where we unpack this week's biggest headlines of sustainability, zero waste, and environmental policy across the U.S. I'm Stacey Savage, aka the Texas Trash Talker, founder and CEO of Zero Waste Strategies. And every week we bring clarity to chaos so you can stay informed, inspired, and activated. This week's episode is packed with landmark legislation, major recycling wins, infrastructure gaps, and some frustrating truths about compostable packaging. So stick with me till the end for your power-packed list of calls to action. So starting off with the category of the good, let's kick things off with progress, innovation, and the wins that actually give us hope. So in Texas, which is where I'm at, in the Austin area, Texas advanced a beverage container recycling bill with House Bill 2048. Texas could have joined many other states like Hawaii and Michigan to do take back in recycling of plastic and metal beverage containers like water bottles and soda cans. But it has been, I think this is the sixth time that Texans have pushed a bottle bill through the legislative session, and it's never gotten this far before, which is a huge win. So in a rare but refreshing twist, Texas might be leading the nation in recycling innovation, because this House bill that was introduced earlier in the legislative session this year would propose a statewide bottle bill, and Texas has about 27 million residents. So something that advocates have been pushing for decades. And this bill would establish a 10-cent deposit on beverage containers, which would incentivize returns and dramatically cutting down the litter on in our landfill waste. But it would create a Texas beverage container recycling consortium to oversee the program, which would have a 75% recycling target by 2035. Unfortunately, the bill did not pass, but again, it got as far as any bottle bill ever has in the state legislature. And what we're showing is that bottle bills and just zero waste and recycling policy, period, can be an actual economic driver here in the state. I'm not sure if y'all are aware, but Texas has over 200 active landfills, and we bring in trash from other states as well. So you can see where this could have been a very positive thing for residents and businesses here in the state of Texas. It could have brought more jobs, more revenue, cleaner roads and rivers, even just Texas communities on the whole. But if we can do it, if we can get this far as such a deep red state here in the South, then I know that other states can push these types of bills at their state legislature as well. Maybe there's hope for the South after all. But moving on to the second good piece of news in our good category is that Connecticut passed a landmark climate bill. Connecticut is proving that states can act when the federal government is dragging its feet. So on June 4th, the state passed House Bill 5004, aiming for net zero emissions by 2050. But it's not just like a pie in the sky goal. It actually includes some real strategies like a clean economy council, support for urban farms and solar canopies, and a climate resilience fund. So it's really smart, it's really intersectional, and it's community driven. So good job, New England. The third story in our good category is that Goodwill and Reju, they have joined together to build out textile recycling. So fast fashion, as you guys know, is a massive waste problem, but now there's a solution that's making moves. In May of 2025, Reju and Goodwill launched a textile recycling hub in the US that could drive the diversion of up to 300 million garments a year from landfills. So With the support of WM, which is formerly Waste Management, the partnership would scale the circular economy by giving torn, stained, or outdated clothes new life. And that's infrastructure level change. That's a huge win for our closets, our landfills, and our future. Another really good, and this one I just found, it's a bonus here because I usually only do 3 topics in each category, but Envision Charlotte. They have a huge development with their innovation barn. So Envision Charlotte is a nonprofit organization that has transformed the city, a city-owned property into an innovation barn. It's a hub for circular economy initiatives. And this facility serves as a living laboratory, experimenting with innovative methods to recycle materials, including organic materials, industrial waste, plastics, textiles, and they're aiming to achieve a net zero waste by continuously reusing resources. So this innovation barn not only demonstrates practical applications of circular economy principles, but it also educates the public on sustainable practices. So let's pivot. We're getting into the bad categories. So this is where systems are disappointing. They're breaking down, and the cracks in our systems are being exposed and really showing how it's costing us. So the first one in this category is Montgomery County. In Maryland, it's really been kind of stuck in a fiery mess, if you will, after years. Hold on just a second. I just got a notification that got it. I don't know. My let me switch my camera here because it looks like my live stream camera is not working for some reason. Let's try that. Maybe that's a little better. Sorry if you couldn't see me for that beginning part of it. So maybe you just heard what I was saying, but unfortunately my camera wasn't working at the time, and I just got a notification that it was on the fritz. So anyway, moving on. Let me get back to it. In Montgomery County, Maryland, after years of debate, the county has decided to keep its aging Dickerson trash incinerator open, but it'll cost them a cool $57 million just to keep it limping along until 2019 or 2029. This thing needs massive upgrades and repairs as well. So the company or the community is going to be forking over a lot of taxpayer dollars to keep burning their trash. So this is really infuriating environmental advocates. This money could have been used for, composting, food recovery, or even true zero waste infrastructure. And instead, that's all just kind of going up in smoke. So this is, not only is it going up in smoke, it's going to release dioxins, carbon emissions, and a lot of taxpayer trust is going to kind of go down the toilet here. So that is one thing for Maryland, where we're looking at incineration. Incineration is not considered a diversion method. So if you look at the zero waste hierarchy, a zero waste hierarchy is kind of like an inverted triangle, and incineration is at the very bottom, where it's not even accepted in the hierarchy. It's actually separated out. It's a piece of its own little triangle at the very bottom, and it does not have any effect on all of the other pieces of the hierarchy, which would be reduce, reuse, recycle, rot, which is like composting food waste, and even refusal of waste. So the incineration piece is disposal. It's not diversion. So we're just burning and burying our materials in incinerators and landfills. But this particular community has decided to move forward with a $57 million ouch whenever it comes to keep burning their trash, because they don't have any real solutions regarding zero waste infrastructure, recycling, composting, and things like that. So Number two in our bad category is that US landfills that are nearing full capacity. So we have new industry data from May 2025 that shows a really disturbing trend. 7 states are looking at running out of landfill space in the next 5 years. One state will reach their full capacity in about 5 to 10 years, and 3 of those states will have about 11 to 20 years to go. But 22 states actually have available space for decades to come. And nationally, whenever we examine the full capacity load or availability among all landfills across the US, this examination puts us at about 62 years until all of our currently operating landfill facilities are stuffed to the gills. So this looming disaster just threatens, higher waste hauling costs, pollution levels, and the health of nearby communities. It's really a flashing red light demanding that we have more recycling, reuse, composting, and extended producer responsibility, which are corporate take-back programs, kind of like how you can recycle your own electronics like computers and TVs in some states. So if we don't rethink what we toss, then we're going to just bury ourselves in our own waste, basically. So getting to the ugly category, this is kind of the stories that make us groan and grit our teeth, roll our eyes, and yell at the screen. So the first one in this category is that food waste is still totally out of control. Despite years of education campaigns, Americans still throw out about 30 to 40% of the food that we produce. That's about $3,000 per year per family. And an environmental gut punch, really, when food decomposes in landfills, that produces methane. That's a climate change gas. And landfills are actually one of the top 5 methane and carbon dioxide emitters globally. So the more landfills we have, and the more food that we put in them, the more food that's rotting in those landfills, then the more methane and carbon dioxide that they're putting off, and the more climate change gases that we have. And so there have been efforts around food waste reduction, like utilizing ugly produce, right? You look at companies that will put produce out there that may not be as aesthetically pleasing. It's not all perfectly lined up. Some of it is a little funky, and then you get a little discount on it because it doesn't look like all the others. But that food is still good. It's still edible, and it should still be consumed, and it should still be in the grocery cycle. But because of our, I guess, ideals around perfectionism, the produce, a lot of times, a good chunk of it gets destroyed. It gets landfilled before it even, gets on the truck from the field. So these are some efforts that are kind of ongoing, but the scale of the problem really indicates the need for far more effective strategies. The EPA's May 2025 update called it a silent crisis. So if you want to help on this, you can do better meal planning. Only buy what you need. You could donate extra foods to a local food bank. And you can also start a backyard composting pile. These are all real game changers for reducing food waste. The second ugly topic in our category is compostable packaging that is actually just going straight to landfill. So those compostable cups and containers that we see at coffee shops, takeout spots, unfortunately, the majority of them are just ending up in landfills. And according to a recent report, only about 3% of the US population has access to industrial composting facilities, meaning they have a separate bin where compostable materials can go that are not included in the recycling and should not be in the trash. So the industrial composting facilities are the ones that come in with their hauler trucks and scoop it up off your curb, or they will dump the dumpster at your business if you have a food permit. And so these facilities are capable of processing these items, but without proper infrastructure, these products they don't break down as intended, and it negates their environmental benefits. So a really good solution is to bring your own reusable cups and mugs whenever you visit an eatery. Maybe you can bring your own to-go container instead of using their styrofoam or their plastic to-go containers. So just a couple of things to think about. Maybe bring your own bags as well. Anything that you can do to reduce and refuse waste whenever it gets produced. You can refuse waste at the source there. And the third topic in our ugly category is that greenwashing in a circular economy is, finally some companies are being accused of greenwashing and abusing industry buzzwords by overstating their commitment to circular economy principles without substantial actions. And this misrepresentation, it really undermines the genuine sustainability efforts and highlights the need for transparency and accountability in environmental claims. So in May 2025, last month, the FTC launched new investigations into brands that are falsely claiming products are recyclable or sustainable without proper certification or third-party data to back it up. So greenwashing just kind of erodes. And if you don't know, greenwashing is a company will say one thing but do another on their sustainability. And so greenwashing just completely erodes the public trust, and it hurts those brands that are truly sustainable, those businesses that are really trying to do the right thing. So what we need is truth in labeling, and the laws currently on the books, we need them to be stronger, and they need to actually have teeth to enforce those types of standards. So what's the takeaway for this week? Progress is possible. Even Texas is moving forward on recycling as an economic driver. Connecticut is totally rewriting the climate playbook, and partnerships are reinventing the textile recovery industry. So we're also looking at systemic failures, guys, that put our environment and our communities at risk. So now is the time to get louder, dig deeper, push for change in your city, your workplace, your state house. So here are some key action steps that you can take each day. So number one is to put your trash, your compostables, and your recyclables where they belong, in the proper bins, making sure that there's no cross-contamination whenever you're at home or on the job, or even at play at recreational facilities. If there are, ways for you, if there's just a trash bin and you don't see anything else, everything goes in the trash bin. But if there's a recycling bin next to it, you have to be careful about what you're putting in there. Make sure that you're not putting food waste in there. You're not putting non-recyclables in there. You're only putting things like cardboard, plastics, glass, metal, and paper. And then if there's a composting bin next to those as well, then you want to be really careful to scrape out your containers, put the actual food waste in the food composting containers, your soiled paper napkins, that kind of thing. And then you can recycle everything else and then trash whatever's left over, right? So also number two, don't buy trash like single-use plastics. Just think about how going zero waste in your own home or at your business can really provide better quality of life for you and your neighbors. So economic decisions like this can signal to businesses to change their practices as well, and could save you money down the road. So you also want to look at maybe supporting nonprofits like the Five Gyres Institute, the Story of Stuff Project, and the Zero Waste International Alliance. Number three, talk to others about what needs to be done and why. Your friends and family trust you the most, and we need to get everybody on board as we do have a climate emergency here. So number four is to choose climate-friendly foods. So, you want to choose those foods that are, of course, healthy and good for you, but only buying what you need. And maybe think about doing smaller purchases more times a week instead of a huge purchase every 2 weeks. That's whenever we start to see food starting to get forgotten about, and it ends up in the back of the refrigerator, and your strawberries are white by the time that you're supposed to go to the store next, and you never use them. So it's important to do smaller purchases a couple of times per week, or more times per month than those big bulk purchases. And then, of course, we want to avoid like fast food chains and make sure that we're avoiding the single-use plastics that come from these types of establishments, and really focus on eating whole and healthy foods, reusable plates, cutlery, cups, paper, cloth napkins. And food waste is really the biggest source of climate change in wealthy countries. So individuals and families are really, you know, being called upon to reduce wherever they can. And if you're looking for a job, number 5 is research the current company that you work for, or any future companies that you'll apply to for a job. Try to choose an employment with brands that actually help save our planet. Do your research on them. Look at their annual sustainability reports. What are they doing for water conservation, trash mitigation, green energy? So you can also join, maybe if you've got a team of people at your current job and you want to start a sustainability team or a green team, you can go to your management and say, hey, we want to do this, and we want to help employees at the workplace be more sustainable. So we want to create a green team, and we want to start education campaigns, and I'm sure they'll get right behind it. Number 6 is by being active in your government at the city, state, and national level. So elected leaders and professional staff really do listen to residents. And whenever you have a grassroots community outcry, or kind of a bubbling up from the residential level on these types of issues, it really gives them a chance to notice what residents want, what taxpayers want. So what's really effective is communication from kids as well. So if you can have your kiddos draw some pictures about what they want their environment to look like, or if they've seen trash in a local river or a stream lately, and have them draw that and what they don't like about it. Those are really tug on the heartstrings of elected officials and their professional staff. And then you can vote at the ballot box. So every vote matters, but it might seem that one vote could be small, but collectively it really does add up. And this is just how democratic governments get their power and how they work, right? So we should be owning our own government, for the people, by the people, right? So getting our government to take action is the only way to get everyone, not only people, but companies as well, moving in the right direction. So those are my 7 calls to action. You can pick one or do a multitude of any of them. Do them once a week, every single day, up to you. But no action is a small action. And so another thing that you can do is to share this video. Maybe you can even tag your policymakers on this video as well, and ask your waste hauler. You can call them up and say, well, where does my trash go? Where does my recycling go? And if you see greenwashing, call it out. You can call them out on social media. You can email them, call them the customer service line as well. But if you see a company saying one thing on sustainability, but doing something totally different, then that is a huge red flag, and they should be called out for it. So contact them and say, hey, I noticed this. Why aren't you doing this? And, get their response, see what they say. But, these are this is not just environmental news, right? I mean, these aren't just headlines. I mean, these are actual things that are happening right now. It's a huge call to action for every single one of us. And so with that, I'm going to leave it there. And if you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. I'm Stacy Savage, aka the Texas Trash Talker. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay trashy, y'all.